long and prosperous.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Shut up and take my money.
By Grabthar's hammer, what a saving.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Winter is coming.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Stay a while and listen.
Hey, old Kermit the Frog.
Bow ties are cool.
So say we all.
This is a Play on Nerds.
Hello, and welcome to episode 106 of A Play on Nerds. I am your co-host, Jarman.
And I'm the other co-host, Steve, and we're here to co-host the hell out of it.
And what the hell are we talking about this week, Steve?
This week, in truly maybe the most essence of A Play on Nerds, we are going to be critiquing someone else's critique of something. We're not doing the work ourselves. We are going to be reading through, let's see, what was it? PasteMagazine.com just released a top 100 sci-fi films. We are going to be reviewing their review of the top 25.
And seeing if we agree or disagree with their assessment of greatness.
And see if it's as good as we are, because we know what the top 25 are. I just want to see if they got them right.
Yeah, we already have the answer sheet.
That's right.
We got to see if they get it right. And if we actually agree, and we've seen all these movies, which would be sad if we haven't. So
that's going to be real fun.
We'll need to fix that. But until then, what you been up to this past week, buddy?
My state's on fire.
Yeah.
So we live in California, San Jose area. And while the immediate area around us, we're not in danger really in any way. We have one of the biggest forest fire in recent history happening north of us, about 4.5 hours. We just had another big one south of us down in Santa Cruz, which popped a lot of smoke. And the thing that you have to remember about California, especially the Bay Area, is that we're just a bunch of bowls in between mountains.
Great.
So smoke fills in, and then until a breeze picks up, it just kind of chills.
It just sits there.
So we only got up to like the low 200s for particulate as far as the air quality meter. Some areas up north, including where sister-in-law and their kids are, got up in like the high 300s, which is just incredible.
That's like the air quality is, basically?
Yeah, the air quality. So like good is 0 to 50. It's good. 50 to 100 is like, if you have asthma, you might want to stay inside. And then 100 to 150 is like, if you have asthma and if you're a kid or an old person, you're definitely going to want to stay inside. And then 150 to 200 is nobody should be outside without a mask.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. And then anything over 200 is that.
So what was yours again?
Ours stayed in the low 200s.
Gotcha.
Probably capping out, I think, like 220 or 230. But there are areas around us that have had it much, much worse.
Jeez. It's just been going for how long now?
Since Friday.
They're trying to put it out, and our president doesn't care.
Yeah, it's not that he doesn't care. It's just that it's our fault.
Yeah, exactly. He's blaming it on the victims.
He cares. He just wants blame assigned to someone else.
So lovely.
So we closed up all the windows. We have a tape seal around the door. We've got 3 purifiers running. Purifiers suck all the moisture out of the air. So on top of that, we have like 2 humidifiers running. It's just a nightmare of stuff.
Jeez. So if you hear any background noise, which you probably won't because my editing is fantastic.
I hope you don't, but just know that if you hear background fans, we do not have the luxury of turning them off right now.
It's for the health of his child.
Yes.
It's important. Oh, man. Well, I don't have anything that terrible to report.
Oh, your whole state's not on fire?
No.
Well, that's good.
I mean, election-wise, we are, but...
Yes, true.
Florida, where I live, is always screwing up our national elections. So they're still recounting votes from November 6th election here in Florida for our Senate and our gubernatorial or governor's race. Democrats are probably still going to lose both those races, but they may not. Who knows? But it's getting closer and closer with the recounts. So that's happening.
I read a thing today that it turns out in something Bay County, which is like a highly conservative county, the local clerk accepted people's ballots via email.
Yeah, exactly, which is highly illegal.
Highly illegal. And most of the clerks that have been caught doing it said like, well, we're trying to serve people that were deeply affected by Michael. But apparently Governor Scott, is that right?
Yeah.
Put in an emergency measure to have all these extra polling places put out and all these extra outreach programs to make sure that people that were affected could still vote.
Right. So they don't need to be emailing their votes to anybody.
Right. It was not in these people's authority to then do more things.
Right. To get more.
So yeah, we'll see. Florida, when are you going to get it right?
Never.
All right.
But we're a melting pot in Florida. That's why we're always so close to our elections, and the whole state it's a very large state with a big population, so it's always holding up the presidential elections too. So
that's true.
Can't help it really. But other than that, I went on a bachelor party cruise, which was fun.
That's right. You talked about that last time. How'd it go?
Royal Caribbean. It was fun. A lot of fun. Like good group of nerds. We played D&D while on the boat.
Oh, that sounds awesome. What version?
We played it's 5.0, the most recent. Yeah.
5? Okay, yeah.
So it was just a one-shot adventure. I played we handed out characters randomly that were already pre-made, and I played a very goody two-shoes Dragonborn paladin. It was fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we went off to the island that's owned by Royal Caribbean called Coco Cay, or Coco Key, however you want to pronounce it. And we just went out there and laid in the sun, and that was fun. I actually didn't burn, which is crazy.
Hey, good for you.
And then the following week, this past weekend, went to the wedding for that guy. It was great, a lot of fun. It was my first Jewish wedding ever, which was really cool.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and they got to do the breaking of the glass, and they lifted the bride and groom on chairs, and while they're singing Hava Nagila Hava, it was like just a lot of fun.
Good.
The rabbi was hilarious during the service, so it was just really fun. And then threw a baby shower at our house for my friend of Kate's. Most ridiculous baby shower I've ever been to, because there was 30 people here at our house, and but that was fun. And
okay.
Yeah, baby stuff. And then I'm here. So that's what happened.
Well, that sounds like a lot happened, though.
Yeah.
That's not like a brush it off.
And that was only like a week and a half, I guess. Something
That's
like
right.
that. So we'll be back to you guys on a regular basis now. No more cruises or
Yeah,
trips
we're
or
not,
parents
we're not
in town.
doing anything crazy. Though we do have the holidays coming up.
Who needs the holidays?
And then more holidays coming up.
God. That's true.
So real quick, you were talking about D&D. So I need to talk to you about this character.
Oh, please do.
That I'm building. And our audience can weigh in. Mom, you can go do something right now. It'll be fine. You won't miss anything. So I'm making a sorcerer character. Nice. And I want to make him like a role-playing god.
Okay.
So keep in mind that that's really my goal going in.
To be a role-playing character, you mean? Like a high charisma character?
Yeah, to like really be able to social the living crap out of things.
Gotcha.
And manipulate and do that. So I need you to tell me if this is a terrible idea or not, because I'm doing it, and in my mind, it's a great idea, but everywhere I read, everyone's saying it's a real bad idea.
Gotcha.
So as a sorcerer, I get 2 cantrips. So 2 just free, use as much as you want spells.
Mm-hmm.
Prestidigitation is an obvious choice.
Right, I love prestidigitation.
Because there's a lot of little tricks you can do with it. This character specifically is going to be a performer. I'm kind of making him bardish. And so because of that, I'm also, through some background magic, going to take Thaumaturgy, which is a cleric cantrip.
What does that one do?
It is similar to prestidigitation, but it's more for theatrics.
Oh, for those who don't know, prestidigitation is little magic tricks, and you can like clean people or make them dirty again. It's just little small stuff that can affect battle.
You can heat water and cool water and mess with people's drinks, those sort of things. You can create noises and minor illusionary effects, that kind of thing. But Thaumaturgy is like you can make your voice up to 3 times louder for a minute and boom in the room. You can make a puff of smoke or sparks. You can make some similar sound kind of stuff. And you can change the color of fire. You can change the color of your eyes. You can cause low trembles in the ground, like stuff like that.
Sounds like fun.
Right. I'm going to take both of these things, but the problem is I've got to burn 2 cantrips to do it.
Right. You won't have an attack cantrip now.
I've got Fireball.
Well, that's not.
Which is.
We can only have 2 cantrips, right?
No. Sorcerer starts with 4.
Oh, so you can have one of those. I think Firebolt, I think, is the one that you.
Firebolt. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so it's not dumb to take both.
I mean, if you're really going to use them, utilize them.
That's why I really want to use them. Well, here's the other thing I've got to remember is that if I don't utilize them, whenever I gain level, I can unlearn.
That's true.
One of them.
And if you have a good DM, you can be like, every time they use your taumaturgy to increase your voice, you can roll advantage on intimidation or something. So
Right.
it'd be good.
All right. Well, I'm doing it then. I'm taking both.
Why not? But you could be like me and
I'm
make a
doing what I
sorceress who is a female who has she enchants people with her breasts. That's what my character was. So
I don't think I quite want to play that way, but I'll keep it in mind.
And we have a great list of achievements that we use for our game, and you can check off when you achieve something. We just found them online somewhere, and one of them was make a man cheat on his wife. So I seduced a man. It took like 20 minutes just to have it. He was like one of the town guards. I went into his house and like had him cheat on his wife like right in front of her. It was terrible. But anyways, that's D&D for you folks. We should have a little theme song like D&D Corner.
Da, 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 da. I think we just did it.
There you go. Perfect.
So does that take us into some nerdy news now that I derailed us?
It's time for Nerdy News.
So great. So this week, I have some fresh off the presses Star Wars news for all you Star Wars fans out there. Because we're speaking about all these sci-fi movies, I thought it was appropriate.
Sure it is.
Pedro Pascal, who many of you might know as Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones.
The Red Viper.
That is me, the Red Viper. And he's also recently in a movie called Prospect that just came out in theaters, where he's kind of the lead in this kind of sci-fi movie. He is going to be starring in the new Star Wars TV series called The Mandalorian, which will be on the new Disney streaming service, Disney Plus, which you may have heard of.
Ooh, I did hear about that.
Series, it's set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order, so in between the old series of movies and the new series of movies. It follows the travails of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. So it's kind of neat. And Mandalorians are, as you might know, is the race of people that we got Boba Fett from. So that's like their armor and everything.
Is Mandalorian armor. That's right.
Exactly. So I think that'd be great. He's a great actor, and I think he deserves it. So I'm excited.
So my nerdy news story this week is called Walking Amongst Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just two big pieces of news, two giant pieces of news. First, giant news, Game of Thrones today confirmed that they will be coming back in April with 7 episodes.
That's it.
And then we are done with this portion. Mind you, there are 3 Game of Thrones spinoffs in the works that we know of currently.
Jeez.
So it will not be the end, but it's the end of this.
The end of those characters, anyway.
We have to come to terms with it. Maybe, depending on how they do the other shows, maybe there's a possibility there'll be some crossover. Or some of your characters may make it in other circumstances, but not likely.
Yeah, not likely.
On top of that, I posted this. Stan Lee passed away at the age of 95.
That's right.
I'm happy to say that I got to pass him in a hallway.
I did too.
Comic-Con.
At Dragon Con, I passed him in a hallway.
They were clearing the elevator, and they're like, we got a VIP coming, we can't let you in. And we had the kid in the stroller, and they were like, all right, since you got the stroller, come on. And we get on, and we get up, and we walk out. And then as we were walking out, we were walking off the elevator that they were holding for Stan Lee, the VIP.
He walked past me when he was going to his picture session at Dragon Con. I did not buy a picture with him because I'm not a huge comic book guy. But I saw him, and in my mind, I remember him saying Excelsior as he passed by, but that probably didn't happen. He probably just walked by.
No, likely not. He
But
probably
my memory,
said, excuse me, sir.
When he walked by me, he said, Excelsior, but that didn't happen.
Oh, man. And then I saw this, and this isn't really news, but it's something I think we should talk about. I saw a movie poster for the new Child's Play movie.
Right.
And in big, bold letters, bigger and bolder than I would expect on a poster, right in the middle, it just says, from the producers of It.
Yeah, they're really proud of that.
And I was just like, man, so is this going to be a thing now where this set of producers hops from nostalgic childhood horror film to nostalgic childhood horror film and just redo them well? Because I could be okay with that.
I mean, that'll only be the second one they did, right?
Well, I mean, if you count It as one thing, then yeah.
Right. Literally 2 movies, but one thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the producers, though, doesn't necessarily mean good movie because the director is really important. So who's directing it is kind of important, you know?
That's true. But keep in mind, the producers are who put together the creative team that makes it happen. But I would kind of be okay if they just hopped from movie to movie and remade them well, because it was so good that I trust these guys.
And they aren't going to make original content anytime soon, so might as well.
Well, why start now? But no, I just thought that was funny, and it was funny to me that from the producers of It was just bigger and bolder than I would expect on a movie poster.
Yeah, I'm excited about it though.
Oh yeah,
the original Chucky was pretty ridiculous and fun.
That's right. Well, keep in mind the original Child's Play came out when no one knew what Child's Play was. It's hard to imagine, and I think we talked about that on maybe one of the Halloween episodes. But like, there was a time where people didn't know that it was a doll.
Yeah, it's true. Like, what does this Child's Play mean?
Right. And the way that they framed the first movie was that the idea was that you didn't know if it was the kid or the doll.
If it was all in his mind, basically.
Or if it was all in his mind, it was something psychological. And you didn't find out until the doll's head turned. It was a great moment. Great moment. But now we just know.
I'll have to rewatch that. I remember that.
Oh, it's the doll. Well, even the first one, even if you rewatch it now, it's hard to frame it as if you were seeing it with no knowledge. It really is, because I just watched a bunch of horror films over Halloween. And to like forget it's the doll and just watch it as a film and how they frame it and how they try to trick you, that's exactly what they were going for.
And then they weren't creative at all going forward. The other movies, it was just like the doll the whole time.
Well, they didn't need to be. By us giving them money, it gave them permission to give up.
That's just a life lesson for all of Hollywood.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Transformers, anyone?
Hey, they might. Who knows? Bumblebee might be okay.
It looks
right?
Cute.
All right. So before we get into our critique of someone else's critique of sci-fi, I've got a game that I couldn't come up with a clever title for. It was just too damn wordy. So I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's going to be classic sci-fi film or indie rock band.
Yeah.
That was the best cue that could have been there. I have no regrets. So it's exactly what it sounds like. I've got the name of some classic sci-fi films and the names of some indie rock bands, and Jarman is going to have to tell me which is which for points.
Points?
Jarman, are you ready to play classic sci-fi film or indie rock band?
Let's go for it.
All right. Bunker Palace Hotel.
I'm going to say indie rock band.
I'm sorry, that's a sci-fi film.
Oops, that's the wrong sound effect. There we go.
That was great, though. All right. Deluge.
Indie rock band.
I'm sorry, it's a classic sci-fi film.
Damn it.
Feeder.
That has to be a classic sci-fi film.
I'm sorry, that's an indie rock band. The Mercury Program.
Indie rock band.
That is an indie rock band.
Yes.
You fought your instinct and you won. Explosions in the Sky.
Classic sci-fi film.
That is an indie rock band.
I should just go indie rock band all the way through.
Black Oxen.
Black Oxen?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a terrible name for a sci-fi or a rock band, but I'm going to go with rock band.
I'm sorry, that's a classic sci-fi film.
Jesus. Sounds miserable.
Animal Collective.
That is an indie rock band. I think I've heard of that one.
That is an indie rock band.
I've actually heard of that.
Of all these, it was the only one I had remotely heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
Sky Diggers.
Also makes no sense, but let's go with classic sci-fi.
I'm sorry, that's an indie rock band.
Damn it.
All right, this is the last one.
Done terribly.
Alphaville. I lied, there's two left.
Alphaville, indie rock band.
I'm sorry, that's a classic sci-fi movie. All right, the last one. Men Must Fight.
Indie rock band.
I'm sorry, that is a classic sci-fi film. Jarman, this may be the worst you have ever done.
I think you're right.
There was a game I played where I think I scored 3/8 of a point.
That's right. I
still think that's the record, but this one was not great. You only got 2 correct. You got Animal Collective and the Mercury Program.
Wow. That was pathetic.
Yeah, I was playing this with Anna before the episode, and she struggled terribly. So I knew it was going to be good.
They say name those movies some terrible things, but because indie rock band names are always awful, but those are some really bad sci-fi movie names.
It's not that they're always awful. It's just that they have permission to be awful.
Yeah.
Like culturally, we're like, oh, indie rock band. What are they called? The Nutbusters. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's just like the lazy restaurant names convention now, where it's always adjective animal. The thirsty gopher, the running
drunken horse,
the drunken horse, the angry beaver. Whatever. It's always one of those things. So that takes us to our main segment. I think it does.
Yeah, we're going to review
more Star Wars.
Can we hear the Cantina song again?
Oh, of course.
Shit, that's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that blue guy with the big nose playing in my head.
He was the weirdest looking one.
I don't know. The weird butthead big eye guys were pretty strange, too. Somehow still playing the oboe. Somehow.
Yeah. Right out of his butthole. Anyways. So we found the top 100 sci-fi movies of all time on Paste Magazine's website. They just released it, I think, November 6th or somewhere around then.
Yeah, just a few days ago.
So we're going to go with the top 25 so we don't bore you with the top 100. But go through and give our opinion if we believe it should be in the list in that place or not.
Or if they're just wrong.
Yeah, or if they're just plain old wrong, because that happens.
Yeah, it does. So in the number 25 spot, we have anime film Akira, which I have no bearing on this film.
It's actually one of the first anime I ever saw of any kind. Friend of ours from middle school called Peter Parsley, who you might recall. His dad owned a video rental store, so we watched a lot of movies at his house.
Oh, that's right.
But Akira was the first one he showed me, and it's from 1988, and it's a epic of proportions movie. It's got crazy effects and weird mind-bending realities and all those kind of things that you don't expect starting off. Because first off, it's just like a motorcycle gang movie, and then it becomes this weird psychological, strange monster movie type of thing. But it's really good. It's really well made. It's one of the classics, best animes of all time by a lot of people's lists. So I think it belongs in that place in 25. I think that's perfect.
And I have no choice but to trust you.
You should.
In the number 24 spot, we have Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This one feels like it's cheating being on this list.
Kind of.
This is a drama with sci-fi elements. This is not a sci-fi film, in my opinion.
And also, this came out around the same time as like Garden State. These like really like, oh, woe is me, white people, like, I don't know, movies, kind of like hipster type. I can't really describe it or put my finger on it, but it was so populist and like
it's hard being in love with weird women.
Yeah, my life's so rough.
That was kind of the theme of both of those movies.
Yeah, pretty much. And look how hard my life is as a white straight male in society.
It's true.
And everyone just talked about them so much, especially this movie, that even though it is a good movie, I think I just was already.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I went into it just not liking it because of that,
And maybe if they put it like 80 or up, I'd feel more okay about it. But the fact that it's taking a place in the top 25
sci-fi movies
and isn't a pure sci-fi is a little bit disappointing.
I agree. So,
all right,
shame on you, Paste.
The hell with that, Paste. All right. 23 spot, we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I think that definitely belongs there, if not higher up.
If not higher up, yes. Right. The only reason I immediately think not higher up is because I saw the next higher up, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely better than that.
Right. I haven't seen it in a long time, though. I need to watch again.
Spielberg classic, beautiful cinematography, brilliant use of color and light. And Leave It to Spielberg did not show you anything until the last couple of minutes of the movie. Truly. Yeah.
Sound amazing.
So good. And the fact that this movie came out a decade before either of us was born, and you can sing that off the top of your head.
Exactly.
means that he did a good job, and this belongs on this list.
And he changed the zeitgeist of how people thought about aliens and how they looked and the crafts and everything with this movie. So I think that was amazing.
All right.
Yep, higher up. I think it belongs higher up. Next one, number 23, we have Her.
Oh, 22 is Her.
22, sorry. 23 was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. 22 is Her.
I'm a little ashamed to say I haven't seen this film.
It's actually really good. Really well made. It's like almost too close to what could really happen soon to make it makes you a little worried, you know. But yeah, it's about a guy, he falls in love basically with his virtual assistant, kind of like his Siri on his phone. But they become much more advanced. It's like in the near future where they're much more advanced and they have great AI and they can develop a relationship with you to better suit your needs. But then he falls in love with her. And it just complicates from there. But Joaquin Phoenix is great in this. It's, kind of a little pretentious, but it's really good. Really well made. Top 25 of all time, though? I don't know. But close. Yeah. I'd say maybe the top 30, top 40, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So this next one only deserves one introduction.
You mean this song? Oh, I actually had it playing, but it didn't work. Fuck my timing.
And of course, we're obnoxiously making noise about Terminator, the Terminator 1984 classic. James Cameron. Absolutely spectacular.
1984.
What the hell is
this? Is actually the Terminator theme music. It's just not to the recognizable part.
It was just the point where it's just noise.
Wow.
I love that part.
Oh, here we go. See, I think the recognizable theme really came punched out in the second movie. This is a less intense version from 1984.
And the thing is, this is before James Cameron was like, James friggin' Cameron. So he had like a budget he had to work inside of and really showed what you can do with a limited budget and a big idea for a movie.
If you're creative, yeah. You're forced to be creative.
Oh, yeah. It's also, not say what brought us Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it certainly elevated him to a new level.
Right. I mean, he only had it before. This was Hercules in New York, I think, and that was terrible. So it wasn't going to bring him onto the big screen. But this one was like, oh, he's a force to be reckoned with. But also, the parts that he should have kept, which is where he didn't have much dialogue, because then he went forward with movies having a lot of dialogue, and that was terrible.
And then they pulled back later, so they found the balance, I think.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, absolutely belongs on the top 25.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Maybe 21, maybe, sure, but yeah, definitely top 25.
Absolutely. All right, number 20, The Iron Giant.
I don't know that I've ever seen this movie all the way through.
I have. At all. It's good.
People love this movie.
It's from Brad Bird, who I think went on to do Pixar stuff. Is that right, Anna? Anna I'm going to say yes. But yeah, it's got those feel-good, deep down, clear characters, great emotions. At the end, when he like sacrifices himself or whatever, it breaks my heart every time.
And this is early Vin Diesel, right? Playing the voice.
I am Superman. That breaks my heart every time. Does it belong in the top 20? I honestly don't think I can put my stamp on this one saying it absolutely belongs top 20.
I've heard enough people praising it so crazily that maybe it does, but I haven't seen it really, so I can't give any input. But it is Vin Diesel, right?
Yeah, it is.
Weird.
He has like 4 lines. It's like Groot level.
Okay. How do you even get that job?
I don't know. Have a deep voice and be Vin Diesel.
I just did a Stallone impersonation. I'm Groot. Hey, I'm Groot. Okay. So number 19, we have Jurassic Park, 1993, the classic. For some reason, our CGI has never gotten better than this movie.
and got worse in some cases.
It got worse.
It's
definitely
amazing.
It looked incredible in this movie.
But no surprise it's in the top 20 at all. A little surprised it's not higher.
I mean, it's weird that I guess it's sci-fi. It's just weird to think of this movie as sci-fi, but it really is.
I mean, think about it. It's probably the most true in that it's about like scientists doing fictitious things.
Right. That is science fiction. Well, when you put it that way.
All right, I got you now.
But yeah, wonderful movie. I mean, top 10 movies of all time. But
we did an entire episode somewhere in the teens that was all about Jurassic Park,
Alan,
and Jurassic World. Alan. Oh man, it's terrible. Don't see 3.
Oh god.
The next one on the list, 18, Metropolis, a 1927 classic. I have never seen this film. Have you?
When I was in film school, we had I did a silent film course, and we watched part of it just to talk about the scenery and how it was groundbreaking with its effects and the scope of it. It was just a giant movie. It was like 3 hours long. So
wow,
we did not watch the whole thing. I have not seen the whole thing. There's apparently 2 different versions. One that's like 3 hours. One's 3.5 hours. So I mean, but yeah, it's supposed to be a huge epic classic. So I see why it's on the list. I just have not seen all of it, but it does look beautiful. It's incredible what they accomplished with these giant budgets for these silent films at that time, because everyone was seeing them. There's like 3 movies a year, so we had a lot of money to spend.
That's true. At 17, we have Solaris. I'm pretty sure this is the movie they remade with George Clooney and took out the Y when it came out later on. Oh, there we go.
It's like Sex and Space.
I feel like at Paste Magazine, there was one hardcore film buff who was like, okay, we can put in Jurassic Park, but only if we put in Solaris. And they went, fine, Jake, can you shut the fuck up? Jake. Can it be in the top 20? Sure, just fucking pick a spot. How about top 10? Jake, don't push it.
If I remember correctly, it was with George Clooney and maybe Sandra Bullock even. I'm going to look right now. This is important. But basically,
you're thinking of Gravity.
I am thinking of Gravity, but Solaris, 2002, George Clooney, Natasha McElhenney. I don't know who that is.
Natasha didn't make it out of the 2000s.
A troubled psychologist is sent to investigate the crew of an isolated research station orbiting a bizarre planet. And it kind of makes them go nuts like a full moon would or something, and there's lots of sex and stuff. And so it's interesting.
All right.
But
maybe I'll read the book.
Top 25?
Yeah. All right. So next, this is where they sent Jake for coffee. And the guys took over again, and it's at 16, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Dun 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 dun. So yes, I think this one is better than the first one. I think
that's the thing I really like about this list is it represents that, yes, it's one of the few times that a sequel has truly been better than the original.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much
and James
fun.
Cameron has done that a few times, actually. So
yeah, Aliens is arguably better than Alien.
I would watch Aliens more every time if I had to choose.
It's more easy to watch. It's more fun, but we'll get to that later.
But crazy CGI effects, beautiful use of practical effects to pull them off.
Yeah, what's his face playing the T-2000 or whatever? Liquid guy.
Yeah, he's great, and even the practical effects surrounding that were awesome, backed up by the CGI. So good. You can't say enough. Terminator 2, absolutely better than Terminator, and absolutely deserves the higher place on the list.
Yep, good job with that one, Pace. Thankfully, Jake left the room.
You did good this time.
At number 15, we have WALL-E, which I absolutely adore. WALL-E. I think it was wonderfully made. I think it absolutely belongs to this list. What about you?
I mean, if you were to make a list of movies with less than 40 lines of dialogue, this would be in the top 2 or 3 of every list.
Right.
It communicates so much with so little.
And you fall in love with this.
It hits you
robot.
right in the feels, like deep in the feels.
It makes a great philosophical
point.
point. Like it shows where our society could go if we're not careful, being just lazy fat slobs who don't do anything and just pollute our planet until it's gone. So it makes a good point, but yet it's not hitting you over the head with it, and it's fun and cute, and the whole family can like it. I mean, it was a masterpiece.
So it belongs at the spot it's in. It belongs at 15.
Perfect spot. What we got next?
Next is they grouped them all together, which I think is fair, and that's Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3.
They could have just left 3 off of there, but I understand. You came here for the singing, folks.
Brilliant movie. Maybe one of the best the sequel at least played so well off the first, and the whole companion storylines and stuff, and it just all played so well together and kept a fresh look at time travel.
Yeah, and kind of like what scientists often say about movies, they don't care if it's not scientifically accurate as long as it follows its own rules. And I think this did that pretty well, at least tried to.
Oh yeah, and there's lots of subtle stuff, little changes in the past that affect huge things in the future, all sorts of that kind of stuff. Truly great. Just great. And even the third one, I know you bashed it a little bit, but
I watched it a lot. I still liked it.
Oh yeah. It was probably the most typical.
It's weird to think that for some reason 2 and 3 were filmed at the same time, even though 2 and 1 have more common elements and sets and stuff. But they
didn't know it was going to be a huge success.
Right. So they filmed 2 and 3 basically back to back at the same time, at least a year apart from each other.
Yeah.
So number 13, we have The Day the Earth Stood Still. The remake with Keanu Reeves, of course.
All right. I just choked it. I just choked it down.
I'm from space. I'm an alien. Whoa.
There's a reason I'm being robotic.
I think I was going to
Keanu.
I was going to Nick Cage with that instead of Keanu.
a little
I'm
bit.
an alien. Oh.
But definitely a classic. I don't know what else to say. I've seen it a few times. It is good.
Yeah, I mean it was just it took itself seriously. It wasn't like a schlocky UFO movie like so many were at that time. I think that's why it came out as a classic, because they were taking itself seriously and like trying to make a statement with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but great story about the guy trying to integrate and with humanity and Klaatu Barada Nikto.
So does it belong on this list? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does it belong at this spot? I don't know. I've seen it twice.
I mean, it kind of has to, I guess, just for historical reasons, but it's not as watchable anymore just because it doesn't age as well, but it's still a classic.
Sure.
It's great.
The number 12 spot, RoboCop.
I mean,
how did this beat Terminator 2?
I think it should be on this list because it's a classic and it's amazing in so many different ways, but I think Terminator 2 is solidly better than RoboCop.
I feel like RoboCop belongs somewhere up in the 40s.
Really?
Like, it does not belong in a top 15, certainly.
I don't know. It's a classic of like B-movie science fiction, and it's just the gory action, the silly lines.
I guess. I can't get behind that it beat some of these other movies.
I agree with that. I think it should be like in the, upper 20s.
If this had been the first one we had read, I'd be not disappointed.
Yeah.
If this was 25, I'd be like, okay, that's a good starting point.
But have you seen it in a while?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, not like last week, but yes.
I just know some people love this movie so much, but I'm okay with it. It's fun, but I don't know if it should be this high. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So next we have number 11, The Matrix.
All right, I get it.
Notice here they did not put Matrix 1, 2, and 3. They just put Matrix.
Yeah, that was probably for the best. They probably couldn't defend that.
Which is weird because I never understood the grief everyone gave 2 and 3. I liked them probably just as much as the first one. I don't understand.
Oh, I loved 3.
Just 2 was bad?
Because 3, I think it probably just played to me more as an audience member in that it spent the most time in the real world, quote unquote.
Right.
And so because of that, I like post-apocalyptic kind of stuff in that genre. So that appealed to me more specifically.
And other people just didn't like that fact that it wasn't more The Matrix.
Right. And other people were like, I came to see him in The Matrix. That's why it's called The Matrix.
Yeah.
And it's the third one. So there should be 3 Matrix.
Right. There's 3 Matrices on top of each other. The first one, though, was amazing. It was groundbreaking, effects, everything. It absolutely belongs around this place in the list, I think.
Yes, absolutely. I can agree with that.
All of us were I think I was in 1999, I was 13. So I was perfect age to be like, I want to go fight in the streets now. Like, wear a trench coat, do karate. But then Columbine had to ruin all that for us, and we couldn't wear trench coats.
That's true. That's true.
Thanks a lot, Columbine.
Yeah. God, I'm not even going to keep talking. I can't back you up on this one.
Just dig my own hole there.
All right, at 10, La Jetée.
Oh, you couldn't forget this classic. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, this is another, like, Jake came in from coffee and he was like, Terminator's above Metropolis.
The Matrix.
Guys.
We need La Jetée. I went to film school, I'll have you know, and I've never heard of this movie. Ever.
It's not a full film. It's a 28-minute art piece, German.
What the fuck? Why is this on the list?
What's it telling you, fucking Jake?
This is the biggest joke on this whole list.
All right, you failed on this one.
It's concept, black and white photos pieced together while an omniscient narrator explains what's happening, quickly announces its symbolic purpose. A man whose story we're told as plainly as possible as we are now part of can travel relatively painlessly through time because of few stark images he's carried with him since childhood. No one cares! 28-minute bullshit. 1962.
All right, so that one, I think we both, you know how we feel.
What do we got for number 9? I'm pissed.
Number 9 is Alien.
All right, belongs in this list.
Absolutely belongs to this list. Was huge for Sigourney Weaver. Ridley Scott kind of defined the space genre and just kept doing the right thing.
Yeah, it was like gritty. It was kind of like, it felt a little Star Wars-y-ish because it was so, everything's like broken and dirty, but yet it was still felt like it was close enough to our time period to be relatable. So I think it was perfect. It was right after, it was 2 years after Star Wars A New Hope came out. So it was kind of riding those coattails, but it was more, gritty and dark and horror.
Yeah. So it absolutely belongs in this list. It absolutely belongs in the top 10.
Absolutely. And then we have at number 8, Brazil, which I still have not seen.
I have to be honest, I haven't seen it either.
Shit, we're bad. That's one we should definitely have seen. I've heard so much
this
about
one, we're going to throw it up in the air. And you know what we should do? We should review this for the next episode.
We could. We very well could. I've heard it's about Brazil. 3 hours long, and it's crazy. Directed by Terry Gilliam from Monty Python, the one who did all the crazy animations for them for so long. But it's supposed to be way nutso and hard to understand sometimes. So that'll be an interesting watch. So
next, I think, is when you talked about, maybe even radically recommended at some point.
Mm-hmm. It's Under the Skin. Number 7, Under the Skin. This is a movie with gorgeous Scarlett Johansson. If you want to watch it just for her being naked half the movie, I mean, that's a reason right there. But if you're not a perv like me, you can watch it for its scientific sci-fi value because it's really messed up and interesting and cool. And what's really neat is she wore a black wig and has makeup a little different than normal. And she goes in the streets of Ireland, I believe, Scotland. So it's Glasgow. And she goes around in a car and picks up men. And these men were not actors. She was actually driving around talking to them, and the dialogue you see them get is real. But then they eventually have to sign an agreement, of course, and be part of the movie because later on things happen to these men that they would not agree to normally. So, and they have to be filmed for it. But it's just, it's really freaky and interesting, and it's sci-fi and at its best because it's just like it could be like a Twilight Zone episode. It's so freaky. But highly recommended. And Scarlett Johansson naked, so there's that.
So triple thumbs up.
Yeah, triple thumbs up. My other thumb is up too.
So my question to you is: does it belong on this list though? This high on this list?
Not this high, but I think it does barely eke out earn a spot on this list, the top 25.
If you had to put it in like a 10, where would you put it in the 20s?
I put it in the 20s.
Okay.
But because it's really freaky and good, I think it's worth it.
At the number 6 spot, we have the movie Stalker, which I've never heard of.
I haven't either, but what's funny is it was on that other IMDb list you sent me.
This was on like 3 or 4 top sci-fi lists, so it must be good.
It must be better than Jetée.
I think we can both agree it's better than Jetée.
Already, without even seeing.
But I don't have enough bearing to have really any opinion on
it. Something about contemplating the deeper trenches of his subconscious, of his fears in life, and whether filth exists within him. So artsy, but it's apparently been recommended by more than one place. So maybe it belongs there. I don't know. It's Russian.
All right. All right. So now when you know Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
I mean, obviously this belongs in the top 5, of course.
Oh, absolutely. It's arguably, I don't know, Return of the Jedi will always have a place in my heart. And most people say that Empire Strikes Back is the best of the 3 originals.
Yeah, it's like the
if anything, I'm kind of
viewpoint.
surprised not to see that here.
Well, it is later in the list.
Oh, okay, never mind. I lied. So in that case, it makes sense.
But number 5, yeah, Star Wars. So that makes perfect sense. It belongs there.
Yeah.
And number 4, we have Aliens by James Cameron.
Which we just talked about earlier.
It is the more fun and just entertaining as hell Aliens movie. It's an action movie, not a horror movie. So it's just a lot of fun. Game over, man. Game over.
Game over.
Rest in peace, Bill Paxton.
You put her in charge.
Such a weirdo. You put her in charge.
But James Cameron at it again. Great movie. It took everything that you loved about the first one, the darkness, the cramped spaces, the claustrophobia. It took all those elements and it gave you that, but it gave you a much bigger, broader world with bigger, broader implications.
And
bigger
it was guns.
Well, also, I think that it was easy last time to be like, well, of course the alien took them out on that ship. None of them had weapons and they aren't trained soldiers. And, but this time he was like, nope, they're just as deadly.
Right. There's more of them.
So absolutely top 5. Absolutely.
So for number 3, we have Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, 1980.
And that makes perfect sense to me.
I didn't see it as being that much better than the first one. I loved them both. But I was like, everyone's like, oh, it's obviously the best film. I'm like, is it? Okay, that's fine. But
well, I mean, what I can definitely say is that it has the best emotional story arcs for the characters.
Right. They've already been set up, so they have more room to like just explore them, I guess.
The Han Leia thing and the Han I know moment at the end, like there's so many of those really, really great moments.
That's true.
That I can definitely understand. And I definitely understand why Return of the Jedi is not on this top 25. But I will always love Return of the Jedi.
I can't believe it's not anywhere on the list. That's crazy. I love Return of the Jedi.
Not in the top 25 at least. So good. Stop
being so fucking mad about your Ewoks. Ewoks are wonderful.
Me Jabba no Wanga.
It's a great movie. The bikini,
number
man.
2 spot,
the bikini.
Oh, damn right, the bikini.
Sorry.
In the number 2 spot, we have Blade Runner.
1982.
Yeah.
It's just, I can recognize its artistic value. It's just, it's so dark. It's just a kind of a trudge for me to watch. I rewatched it recently with Kate because she hadn't seen it yet. We were going to watch it before we saw the new one. And it creates absolutely a fantastic, interesting universe. It's just that it's so dark and kind of depressing that it's not a lot of fun.
And the pacing is slow. For the most part, the pacing is slow. I'm with you. Does it belong on this list? Absolutely. I'm not going to argue with people that say it belongs at 2, but I've never gotten it.
Yeah, I'm like, I recognize it was great and it was fun. It was a cool thing to watch, but I wouldn't watch it again and again because it's just a slog. But yeah, and it's supposed to be the same universe as the Alien universe, supposedly.
Oh, that's right. They did establish that at some point.
Ridley Scott's put in little Easter eggs every once in a while that they're in the same universe. So it's kind of neat.
All right, Jeremy, what's the number 1 spot on this list?
At number 1 is 2001, A Space Odyssey from 1968. It is kind of crazy, but thinking that movie was made in 68 with all these effects.
Right. That's mostly what gets me about that is the year. Like there were much, much worse films coming out in 68. Much, much, much worse films. To see this on one side of the scale and some of the other stuff coming out on the other is insane.
And this is why the conspiracy theory that Kubrick, the director of this film, helped fake the moon landings because he was the only person capable of doing that if it was even possible because he made this film look so good.
That's true. It's a weird mental existential exercise in a man's loneliness and fighting technology and fighting himself. The ending doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
I've read things to try to explain it, and I don't get it.
I did not enjoy this movie. I'll say that right now. I just didn't enjoy it.
It's a slow visual masterpiece.
Yeah, like I don't need to sit here. I have too many things to do and too many things to watch 10 minutes of going through space with the orchestral music playing in the background.
We already did it for the first Star Trek film. We don't have any more time.
Well, the first Star Trek film came out after this, but I know what you mean. We already watched the first Star Trek. That's what
we already did.
Yeah, and since I had better things to do with my time than sit there and like watch a baby forming out of space for 10 minutes, like everything takes too long in this movie. You could cut down like a half an hour, I'd be happy. People will probably hate me for that, but especially Jake. But fuck him. Sorry, Steve's mom. I keep cursing.
But yeah, I'm not going to argue. Just like number 2, I'm not going to argue with anyone that says this belongs to number 1. It probably does, but there are many other movies that I could have put at the top of this list.
Right, and some of these are here for their significance and how they changed the industry
and what they culturally meant at the time. Like,
right.
I get that,
so that's fine, but not my favorite movie at all.
Right. All right. Well, you did an okay job, Paste Magazine.
Except for Jeté.
Jeté.
We'll never let that one go, but otherwise, good job.
Yeah. So that moves us on to a Would You Rather.
A Would You Rather? I think I have a thing for that.
I think you do too. That's what I was waiting for.
Would you rather?
All right.
All right.
So some of these are Would You Rather and some of them are like just hypothetical. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So would you rather live among which Star Wars race? The Ewoks, the Gungans, or the Jawas?
Ewoks, obviously. Because Gungans are annoying as fuck. Jawas,
and the water thing could be limiting.
That's very true. Like, I can't breathe underwater. And Jawas are just scavengers. They're going to take my clothes, my possessions, and beat me up and leave me for dead. So, I mean, they're cute and all, but Ewoks are the cutest.
And I feel like with Ewoks, I would be some sort of god.
Yeah, I'd pretend I was anyways.
I'm going to go with Ewoks too. Same thing, Gungans, I would drown. And with Jawas, I just can't do the sun.
Yeah, that's too much. I'm too pasty.
Desert planets and stuff, just can't do it. Plus, I don't think their little robes would fit me.
Like 4 robes stitched together.
All right. Would you rather pick one skill, and every time that you competed using this one skill, you won first, or pick 5 skills, and every time you competed using those skills, you came in third?
I like the 5 skills because that's kind of like my life as it is now. I'm jack of all trades, master of none, and it serves me pretty well. So I do that.
See, I'm going to go with the one and in first place because that's where the money is.
That's true.
Like if I could be really skilled at playing blackjack, yeah, I of course would always want to take number 1 and then go to like Blackjack World Tournament and win $15 million.
I guess that's why I'm not rich.
That's true.
Damn.
You diversified your portfolio of life.
Too much.
Okay, so there's the last one. All right, so you lose an appendage of your choice, and modern advances in science allow you to seamlessly replace it with a kitchen appliance. Which appendage do you lose, and what appliance do you replace it with?
Kitchen appliance, huh? Oh, my left hand, and I'll replace it with a meat tenderizer. I want to be a horror villain.
So you sound like a boss from Diablo 3.
That's perfect.
I was going to go with right hand and replace it with a pair of kitchen tongs.
That's fun.
It'd be like kind of a sad pirate.
It would be quite a pair there. You're like your right hand and my left hand.
They call me Clippy.
They call me the Pounder.
Yar.
Yar.
All right, yes, that was Would You Rather, kind of.
And that takes us to some trailer reviews.
Here at A Play on Nerds, we have spent years refining our exclusive trailer rating system.
At the low end of the scale, we have Burn It, where we think you should find every copy you can get your hands on and throw it into a barrel fire. To burn
Wait, did you grab the original?
451 style.
And second from the bottom, we have We'll See.
Yeah, you did.
Maybe the trailer was too short.
Oh, no, I changed
Maybe
it.
it was cut oddly. Or maybe we don't know what the hell we just watched.
I didn't even know.
We'll see.
That way for
Up
weeks.
next, we have Give It a Buck. Whether you
I've been
hit a
drinking
red
too
box,
much.
a dollar movie theater in the bad part of town,
Just kidding,
or
I
a
don't
cheap
drink.
online rental, give this movie a buck and enjoy it without breaking the bank.
And at the top of our rating system, we have Shut Up and Take My Money. The wallets have been charmed out of our pockets, and we are ready to make our hard-earned cash disappear.
And that's our patent-pending trailer rating system for A Play on Nerds.
Yeah, I changed that weeks ago.
Man, I was getting ready to be like, and just to remind everyone, it's Burn It now.
You haven't had to do that for a couple episodes.
Man, that's good. It means it was seamless.
Absolutely. So we have some interesting, it came out today, I think, both of these trailers.
Yeah, today or yesterday.
So the first one we have is Detective Pikachu. That's right. You heard me right. Detective
Pikachu.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
Tim, your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad...
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out. Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Jeez. Here we go.
I know you can't understand me, but put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me? Oh my God, you can understand me. Stop. I've been so lonely. They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika, he's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him? I don't need a Pokemon, period.
Then what about a world-class detective? Because if you want to find your pops, I'm your best bet.
We're gonna do this. You and me.
There's magic that brought us together, and that magic is called hope. Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mime.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
In my head, I saw that differently.
I don't know, man.
Really? You're the Pokemon guy.
I know, and that should say something to you about what just happened.
Huh.
I don't know what to do. They didn't show enough Pokemon. They certainly didn't play their cards close to the chest, so I know that's not why. The Pokemon they did show, those better not be their final renderings, because they were real rough and real bad looking.
Maybe that's why they haven't shown so many of them yet.
Yeah, maybe. But the ones we saw just looked poorly animated. They didn't look like they were part of the world at all. Maybe Pikachu a little bit. Maybe.
I thought they did. Especially they showed Jigglypuff, I think. He looked like he was the same as Pikachu.
I don't know. I'm not convinced. I really am not. The premise is interesting. I get that they couldn't just do a Pokemon movie. Ryan Reynolds is so hot right now. I feel like this is Deadpool with Pokemon.
With a little more family humor kind of thing, but
yeah. The one thing I do appreciate is that in the original there was always sort of this trope that Pikachu kind of made noises and Ash somehow understood exactly what he was saying. So funny. I do like that they're playing that up, and that's one of the central premises. But I don't know.
And wasn't Detective Pikachu a manga or a game something in Japan? It's a thing that just it didn't come out of nowhere. There was a Detective Pikachu somehow.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he had popularity somewhere. I don't think in the U.S., but somewhere.
Right. I remember when they announced this movie was happening, people were really confused, but then they explained like, oh, this is a thing that's popular in Japan.
Yeah, it was a game. It came out in 2016 or 2018.
Oh wow, 2018's now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I, as a non-Pokemon fan, I thought this was like a really cute, fun movie. I was actually kind of excited about it.
And the fact that you preface that with as a non-Pokemon fan, I think is exactly what they're going for.
Kind of pull more people in who maybe didn't play Pokemon before.
We're right, because they know the people that did are still going to come see it, and they want people that wouldn't.
And that one scene is basically like the non-Pokemon fans seeing him, where she says, "Oh, he's so cute." He goes, "Pika Pika." Like, that was just so adorable to me. And I'm like, that's all I care about. That was adorable. So that put me into it. So I say give it a buck for me. What about you? Yours is a we'll see, I think.
Yeah, I guess a we'll see. I need to see another trailer. I need to see more Pokemon and how they're rendered, because I don't know. It's just, they didn't look like they were part of the world.
It'll be the first time we see rendered Pokemon in a live action movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, they got
to my knowledge, yes.
So what's our next movie?
Our next movie is the double teaser release for Toy Story 4.
Right, and the first teaser has no dialogue to speak of, except towards the end, like little sound bites. But it basically has all the toys we know, holding hands and slowly moving to music as they're kind of like going in a merry-go-round kind of thing. But then the last toy is this like a fork with like a spork.
Like like a spork that's been arts and crafted to have googly eyes on it. Obviously like some, kindergarten room project toy sort of thing.
And he's like, "I'm not a toy. I don't belong here." That was kind of cute.
Which, who knows if that's in any way relates to the premise of the movie.
Right. And they give nothing about the plot away at all, just showing a tease that it's happening. But then they release a trailer reaction, which is much longer than the teaser. And we're going to play that right here.
Yeah.
You're kidding me. He said that? To your face?
To my face.
And then what happened?
So I get real close, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't care which Cabbage Patch you're from, kid. Give me back my Viewmaster before I knock the dimples off your face.
Oh!
Okay.
No, you didn't. You don't even care, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you are a I don't care bear. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Oh,
Ducky.
Yeah.
You see the new movie trailer?
For what?
You ain't see it?
See what? What is it, buddy?
Ducky.
What?
They're making another Toy Story movie.
No, I thought those movies were done, dog. They made 3 movies.
They did make 3 movies. This is number 4.
Oh, shoot. Come on. I love the Toy Story, dog.
Toy Story is my jam.
What about Buzz Lightyear's, dog?
I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger.
And then Woody's like, "You are a toy."
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Woody.
Do the flying thing he does. Do it. Do it.
To infinity and your mom.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's not right.
You sure?
No, that's not right.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
No, let me show you. To insanity and a blonde.
What do you even
That's how it goes.
saying?
No, that's how it goes.
To immunity and respond.
To indecency
To infrequently.
Hey, guys, you got it all wrong.
It's to infinity and beyond. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
You can't go to infinity, dummy. It's impossible.
He up here talking about infinity.
You don't go beyond infinity.
You don't know nothing about science.
That was really cute.
That's
Key and Peele, right?
Yeah. And I don't even know if they're in the real movie, but what a smart way to hype a film without giving anything away.
Yeah, exactly. Showing these other characters being hyped about it coming out.
We're right. If anything, it did its job. It makes me more excited. And Toy Story 4 is going to get a shut up and take my money, because by the time it comes out, it's going to be something Joyce will absolutely adore.
Oh, that's true. How old will she be by then?
3, maybe? I don't know. When is it coming out?
That'd be perfect. Probably 2019 sometime.
Yeah, so maybe 3. We'll see.
Yeah, not something I'd see in theaters because I don't have a kid, but I definitely give it a buck because I've seen all the Toy Stories, and 3 was just heart wrenching. So, they probably will do this pretty well. So.
I cried like 4 times during Toy Story 3.
Oh yeah, it was
4 separate moments where I cried.
So give it a buck for me.
Okay, good.
Even without seeing a trailer yet, I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Obviously.
All right.
All the actors still alive from that, like the Mr. Potato Head. Wasn't that Don Rickles?
Mr. Potato Head might be gone. Slinky Dog is gone. That was Jim Varney.
Was it?
Yeah, the guy who played Ernest. He played it for the first one. Let's see. Who else is gone? It's gonna be sad.
It's like all new actors. Toys.
Annie Potts is still there. Patricia Arquette's still there. Joan Cusack's still around, luckily.
Tim Allen's dead to me, so.
Fair.
Yeah, Don Rickles.
A lot of these guys are still around.
Wallace Shawn's still around somehow.
Yeah. But Blake Clark, who is actually a very close personal friend of Jim Varney, is the one who took over the role of Slinky Dog.
Oh.
And you'd recognize him from something.
And John Ratzenberger, he's still alive. Good for him.
Yeah. So I think there's plenty of people still around.
Oh, Arlie Ermy just died last year. So no more captain or whatever. Well, that's depressing. So that's Toy Story 4.
Thanks, Jarman.
So now let's go to some radical recommends.
If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
What do you recommend I do?
I recommend Pleasant.
All right, so what you got for us this week, Steve?
So this week, Radical Recommends is a homebrew solution. With the terrible air coming in, I had to figure out a way to do some air filters in here without being able to get a hold of any air filters because stores were all bought out, and Amazon wait times went in just incredible. It just went insane. So I look up homebrew, and this guy found it, and he's actually like an air quality duct tester, and so he did a side-by-side comparison of this and like a high-end air filter, and this only performed like 4 to 6% worse, this solution. And that solution is you take a 20 by 20 box fan. So the box fan that you had in your window growing up.
Right.
And you take a 20 by 20 furnace or air or AC system filter, which it's a standard size that they sell. And you line it up and you put it on the back of the fan, and the fan pulls air through this filter and pushes it out.
So you blow that out the window?
No, we just have them on in the apartment, circulating air and pulling particulate out of the air.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But yeah, the box fan you can get for $17 on Amazon, and the packs of the filters were like, 4 for $25.
Nice.
So for 22 or $23, you can have a big air filter that pushes a ton of air, and you can easily see when it gets dirty.
And it's a good way to keep your family breathing.
Yeah. So 20 by 20 box fan, 20 by 20 air filter, and you got yourself a pretty damn fine air filter.
Nice. Instead of buying one of those expensive things.
Yeah. So we have one of the expensive ones right next to our bed, but in the kids' room and out in the living room, we have these box fans.
Well, there you go. For those of you suffering from wildfires right now across the world,
dear Lord,
use this as a solution. Well, my radical recommend will be of a movie that we did the trailer review of, I believe, called Overlord.
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah, and so this movie was apparently originally going to be part of the Cloverfield movie universe, but when the Cloverfield Paradox came out on Netflix and did so poorly, they took that out of this movie in whatever way they did. I'm not sure, but the movie was fantastic.
Okay.
The opening sequence is one of the most tense, thrilling opening sequences I've seen in a movie in a long, long time. Premise is you start off with the guy, a young guy who's just going off to World War II for the first time. He's very nervous. Everyone in the plane with him seems like they're pretty new and pretty green, except for one or two of them. And they're being dropped in France to take out this communications tower at a church so that they can storm the beaches of Normandy and not have their signals jammed. So it's a very important mission. They're sending a lot of people in to take out this tower, but only a few of them make it. But once they get to that church, they find out some weird things are going on. This is not spoiling anything because it's in the trailer, that they're doing experiments on people and making them into like rage zombies or something. It's crazy. So it takes a weird twist into like a horror film, but it's also like a lot of action and just great character moments, great writing. It's produced by J.J. Abrams, but the director name I did not recognize, a new person on the scene. But Overlord, highly recommend it. Probably be at theaters very long because there's not a lot of hype about it, but it's got like an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes. and it was just that opening sequence alone makes it worth it. I was like, I had trouble breathing afterwards. Like, Jesus, that was intense. So
wow,
worth watching.
Okay, spectacular.
Don't have the kids around because it's very gory.
All right, so that takes us to our thank you section, and this is where I'm going to implore you. We don't have a thank you section this week, so write us. Write it on our Facebook, tweet at us. You can email any email, like any word you want, at aplayonnerds.com, and we will get it and receive it. We would love something to say in this thank you section.
And we will, of course, always thank in perpetuity Mike or at Jarek for retweeting us every week, every time we have a podcast episode. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate that.
True. Ryan from Positively Nerdy, which I don't think exists anymore.
It doesn't.
Kristen Bazzaio.
Raul Julia. Thank you.
That's more of an apology than a thank you to
That's
Mr.
true.
Raul Julia.
Sorry about that, Raul.
But yeah, so we'd love to hear from you. Any thoughts? If you hated the movies we loved, whatever, just tell us.
And
what?
No, nothing at all.
What do you want to do?
Just saying goodbye.
All right, saying goodbye. All right. Well, we'll keep coming back, and we'll keep coming back regular. We'll have, I don't know, maybe some sort of holiday episode for Thanksgiving. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to promise you anything. But in the meantime, we'll keep being your nerdy co-hosts if you guys keep being our nerdy audience. So thanks again, Internet.
Stay nerdy, my friends.
Thanks for listening to A Play on Nerds. Find all of this content and even more nerdy news, reviews, and fun at www.aplayonnerds.com.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter so you know the exact second we release new podcasts, articles, and other nerdy content. We know you're impatient.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Podbean, Buzzsprout, Podomatic, and whatever the hell else you use.
Also, please leave us a rating and review on your chosen podcast platform so we can be discovered by even more nerds like yourself.
However you do it, check us out.
And how.
And how.
And how. Boy, howdy, and how.